we are superior in that form. And I think Balakot was a clear indication. But in terms of numbers, we are far superior at this moment of time. We, India, are slowly getting into self-reliance on missile systems. How does one football team beat another football team? You have better players, you have more experience, you have better tactics, strategies, and end of the day, the result should go in your favor. Similarly, there is nothing known as how to beat Pakistani Air Force. I look at it in a different manner. Firstly, do remember that the Air Force pilots and the allied services in Pakistan and in their Air Force, they are a professional Air Force. First, let's give dues to the devil, they are a professional Air Force. As far as their equipment goes, air assets go for war fighting, they are almost, I would say, close to half of the force level that Indian Air Force has in terms of numbers, in terms of types of aircraft, in terms of even technology now. And the weapon systems, I would say India is better off at this moment. Electronic warfare, equipment and assets, we are better off. So when you put all these things together in a basket, you will find that we are superior in that form. And I think Balakot was a clear indication. And going back to history, I could say 1971 was a clear indication as to how we are better off than the Pakistani Air Force overall. And hence there is nothing very much except the tactics and the strategies that we employ vis-a-vis their strategies and their tactics. I think we have proved it many a times now that ours is a better strategy, better tactics, maybe better planning because of overall assets, etc., etc. And we have always got the better of Pakistani Air Force in all the wars. Maybe in 1965 it was at par because of various reasons. So beating or not beating is not the question. Who is superior? In every form, the Indian Air Force is superior to Pakistan Air Force. And obviously, if we are superior, we will beat them. They have on their inventory about 400 odd aircraft. Fighters I'm talking of, including some of the electronic warfare and surveillance aircraft, etc., refueling aircraft, AEWC aircraft. And we have, I'm not talking of transport aircraft, please. And we have the numbers, of course, about 750 fighters, and the other allied force multipliers that we have are much more than theirs. So in numbers, we are far superior to them. And like I said, technologically also now we are superior. But we need to build up more on technology and force multipliers. What I would like to emphasize here is I do not know about the Pakistani Air Force serviceability as of this moment with what weapon systems they have. They have got something from China. Their latest aircraft is the JF-17. And I'm not very, what I'd say, proficient to say what is that aircraft's capability. Well, it's a modern day aircraft, it must be capable and it must be almost at par or maybe slightly less than the F-16, which Pakistan already has. But in terms of numbers, we are far superior at this moment of time, even with our reduced squadron strength of about 30 plus minus 1, 2. So that is the rough comparison. Force multiplier, suppliers like air-to-air refuelers, AWACS, AEWC aircraft, jammers. We are better off them, but don't forget we've got a larger area of to defend vis-a-vis them. And they are only looking at one front. We have catered, our numbers are superior also because we are catering for two fronts. Bases that concern us, of course, Karachi and one odd satellite base there. We in the north, we come to, of course, they've got Quetta, we've got and they've got in the north Chaklala, Sargodha. Up in the hills, they've got in POK, they've got Skardu, Gilgit, they've got Bahawalpur. They've got many runways. Hyderabad is there also. And it's not number of bases. How many aircraft are you going to put in each base? What is your strength? Accordingly, you will create more and more bases. One of the very important bases is Sargodha, Chaklala. That is opposite Punjab area and this J&K area. Those are important bases where they have a lot of aircraft. And so please don't get carried away the number of bases. That is not of importance. They have also forward air bases for launch during operations, and like we do also. We also do. We move our aircraft from deep within our country to the forward air bases during war. So it really doesn't make much of a difference. There's more than adequate for themselves, I suppose, and one more new base they're constructing next to, I think, Muzaffarabad or something of that nature. I mentioned about 65. 65, let me put it this way. They had maybe slightly better aircraft than we had because the Americans had supplied them. And there was slightly better technology than what we had. The 104, which was supposed to be better, while we had just about got the MiG-21, a few of them in 1964. The rest were Hunters, Nats, Mistiers. Those are older generation aircraft, but they did a phenomenal job. And let me put it this way, we came out at par, if not slightly superior. If not slightly superior, we were at par. 71 was a different ball totally. We had to fight in two different fronts, east as well as west. So we had to kind of distribute our air assets, keeping in mind their air assets in that time erstwhile East Pakistan, and looking at the Western Front also. And I think we did a very creditable job, because in East Pakistan we got the Air Force, which was not very strong, there in East Pakistan, now Bangladesh, and we brought them to their knees pretty quickly. I would say after the fourth day, they had nothing very much to really take on any kind of air effort that we were putting into East Pakistan in support of our army. In the West, yes, it was a good battle, but we were superior in numbers and we had better assets now. We had better assets, we had better radars. Vis-a-vis in 65, we didn't have any kind of a radar really worth mentioning in that area. We did very well in the West, and of course again Pakistan surrendered East Pakistan, and literally, I'm not talking of that they surrendered in the West, but they asked for a ceasefire with the help of course, friendly countries from the West, and the ceasefire was called for. But we achieved the aim, India achieved the aim with the help of Indian Army, Indian Navy, the Air Force in its own role, East Pakistan. The Pakistan Army surrendered to India within a matter of not even 2 weeks for that matter. So that is how the thing rolled in 71. Now when we come to surface-to-air missiles, air-to-air missiles, these are constantly changing technologies. We, India, are slowly getting into self-reliance on missile systems, but we are far behind in terms of the variety of missiles that are there available in the world market vis-a-vis what we are producing in our own country. Yes, it's a good step here. We have produced the Akash. We have Akash surface-to-air missiles, and we have Astra is another air-to-air missile. Slowly we are catching up. But in terms of numbers and the technology of some of these missiles that we have, whether we call them air-to-ground missiles or air-to-air missiles, coupled obviously with the radar systems which are used to launch these missiles and guide the missiles to their targets, I think we are far better off at this moment.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.